What is up, everybody? J-Nell here with my UFC 223 prediction video. It's coming this Saturday from Brooklyn, New York. If you're like me, you've been waiting for this card. You're so excited, especially for all of them, but especially for the main event. First up on the prelims, the main event of the prelims, I'm choosing Carolina Kowalkiewicz to beat Felice Herring. Now onto the main card. This is a great way to open up the main card. I'm choosing Paul Felder to beat Al Iaquinta. I think he's fresher. Al hasn't fought in almost a year. I think he's going to be slightly bigger. I think Al could be faster. He has more tricks in his bag. Plus, he talks a lot. He could try to get Paul off his game with the mental game, but Paul keeps a pretty even temper, so I'm going to go with him. But it could go either way, and it could be fight of the night. So look out for that one. Going with Paul Felder, though, over Al Iaquinta. Now, this next fight, I've been going back and forth all the way until now. You have Michael Chiesa versus Anthony Pettis. You have Anthony Pettis, third-degree black belt in Taekwondo. Brown belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I think he has more tools on the feet. Michael Chiesa is a bit bigger and a bit longer. He has that controlled chaos. And I looked it up. It says he's a white belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Someone let me know if you've got different information and from where, because that just doesn't feel right. But apparently, I think because he's a bit physically, I think he's going to be a little bit more physically stronger than Anthony. So if it does go to the ground, I think that it'll be kind of evenly matched up. Anthony has a lot of sneaky submissions off of his back, but I don't think he needs to rest there because Michael Chiesa can beat him up. He's got that wrestling base, of course. This fight could go either way. They're both coming off of really bad losses. Michael Chiesa, the submission, the rear naked choke to Kevin Lee. Anthony Pettis getting KO'd in the third round to Dustin Poirier. They both really need to win. This is the lightweight division. They really both need to win. So it's Pettis said he had a bad training camp before the Poirier fight. You better hope you had a great training camp here. You both better be mentally in the game because you both need to win. And I'm choosing Michael Chiesa. Okay, moving on. That could go either way. That could also be fight of the night. I'm choosing Calvin Kattar to beat Renato Moicano. I think this fight could go either way. This could still fight of the night. This card is stacked. These are both young up-and-comers. They both have some great wins behind their back. I think that Calvin is from Boston, correct me if I'm wrong, and I think he's going to have a lot of fans there. And if we saw with his last fight against Shane Burgos, that helped him. He fed off that crowd energy. They were very much a sixth man for him, so I think he might have that extra boost, although he could lose. I think Moicano might have more submission skills if it goes to the ground. I think he might be a little bit better there, although Kattar might be a little bit stronger. Again, this is also a close fight, but I'm going with Calvin. Now, co-main event, and we have the UFC Women's Bantamweight Champion, Women's Strawweight Champion, Thug Rose Namajunas, in the rematch against JJ, no longer Joanna champion, Joanna Jedrzeczyk. I'm excited for this. This was well-deserved. A lot of those champs who lose their belt and then they complain about not getting an automatic rematch, you have to say something. You have to make your case, and she did that. She deserves it. I believe she defended the belt like 6 times, and she got it, and I'm glad she did. Now, what can she do better? Because you got to do better, Joanna. Okay, she's got too many Muay Thai titles to count worldwide here, and that is her expertise is the Muay Thai. She has very quick hands. I thought it would be quicker than Rose. I'm not quite sure we saw enough for me to even say that they weren't, because, you know, she got KO'd by Rose in the first round. She even got knocked down before that. This was a dominant victory for Rose. So, JJ, you got to do better. I suggest using maybe your kicks more, maybe not being a little overzealous. I don't think she underestimated Rose's physical ability, but I think she definitely underestimated Rose's mental ability. In fact, correct me if I'm wrong, I think she even said that Rose was mentally weak. And there was controversy there about the things that Rose has gone through, and that she was bullying Rose a bit. And I'm not quite sure it went to the extent of bullying, but she absolutely underestimated Rose mentally. So I don't think she's going to make that mistake again, because clearly she was wrong. Rose put her down. Not only, it wasn't a fluke victory. She knocked her down before that. She dominantly beat her, so this was not a fluke. I think Joanna needs to use her kicks more, maybe not go into her as quickly. I think you need to get some respect early. So you're going to have to cause something to make her, whoa, early, and I think that comes with the kicks. Of course, Rose being a black belt in Taekwondo and in karate, she's got kicks too, but it's a different style of kicks. I would say I think JJ might have quicker kicks, but I can't say that. I think I don't know. We didn't see enough. We didn't see enough. But Rose, you need to get some respect quickly. Or excuse me, JJ, you need to get some respect quickly. I think you need to use your legs to maybe keep her away from you, because she came at you hard with kind of no respect. I don't think she respected your hands at all. I think so. You're going to have to try to, first off, you're going to have to survive the first couple of minutes. You cannot get bombarded the way you did the first time. So that's why I say use your kicks, maybe keep her away from you, maybe get her thinking a little bit, maybe work at them legs, take some power out of her, everything when you work on those legs. But you're going to have to be different, be better, and do not underestimate Thug Rose. Now, Thug Rose, what can I really say for you to do better when you dominantly beat her in the first round? Again, it wasn't a fluke. She came into your power. You knocked her down first, and then you knocked her down, put her out again. This was not a fluke. So the only thing that I would say to Rose is to be prepared for a better Joanna. Be prepared for her not to do the same thing, to not underestimate you in any way, to probably stay away from you. Try not to chase her, because I don't think she's going to be in front of your face the way she was last time. So be prepared for her to be different, for her to be better, for her to show you things you may not have seen before. And I would say don't let the lights get to you, but you didn't the first time. So who am I going to pick? I actually think that JJ, if anyone's capable of getting her belt back on a rematch, it would be JJ. I actually think that. However, I'm sticking with the champ, and I'm going with, as DC, Thug Rose. Thug Rose. Now, main event, and we've all been waiting for this for so long. Feels like 2 years we've been waiting for this fight. And this is the interim UFC lightweight champion, Mr. Tony Ferguson, taking on, finally, Khabib Nurmagomedov. And if you're like me, if you're like, quite frankly, the entire lightweight division pretty much, they pretty much consider the lightweight title vacant, and this is the title fight to determine who's the actual champion. So they don't really look at Tony Ferguson. Some of them look at Tony Ferguson as a champion, but some of them kind of look at him as a placeholder, including Tony. Tony says he's the champ, but let's get real. They need to get that belt off of Conor McGregor after this fight. That is what needs to happen. I hope it is happening. I believe Dana White said it's gonna happen, so I hope he does that after this fight. And if Conor would like to come back and get an immediate title shot against the winner of this fight, the champion of the lightweights, I'm actually fine with that. But please, please strip him of this belt after we crown a champion. Now, having said all that, let's talk about Khabib first. Khabib, undefeated. Khabib is uniquely, extremely talented at what he does with this Sambo style wrestling, this Russian wrestling, this highly aggressive wrestling, this blanketing style where they beat. It seems like he even, when he has opponents on the ground, he hits them everywhere. It seems like he hits them on the calf, on the foot, on the toe, on the back of the thigh. He literally beats up their entire body, this blanketing, aggressive, wrestling style, smothering style that eventually just overwhelms and overcomes his opponents. He has a chin. We saw him take straight kicks to the face from Edson Barbosa and walk right through them. He did get stunned against Michael Johnson, but you know what? I believe him in his camp. They said, the health failures that took him out of the last fight against Tony Ferguson, he was almost at that point making weight for Michael Johnson, and he just was not. He was nowhere near 100% physically. He was drained. I believe that really had a big part into why Michael was able to stun him in the first round. Not to take anything away from Michael Johnson. Very well placed shot and landed very cleanly. But I do believe that Khabib was not 100%. However, you don't want to just keep walking down Tony Ferguson and taking hits to the face of whatever he might be throwing at you in the first round. The longer you're standing up and the longer you're in space, the more you're going to have to play some defense, Khabib. And that's, I would say, one of Khabib's shortcomings. He doesn't have a lot of defense on the feet because he hasn't really had to do it. He's got a great chin. He walks through his opponent's offense, gets his hands on him, gets him up against the fence, or maybe doesn't even have to do that, gets him on the ground and then beats them up. So he has great submissions. He just breaks their will and then he puts them out. So he hasn't really had to practice a lot of head movement, a lot of angles, a lot of footwork. He's not a slick stand-up fighter. He doesn't have a lot of stand-up tools. He hasn't had to have them. And again, he hasn't had to have a lot of defense standing. So for my thing for Tony is keep this fight on the feet as long as you can, in space as long as you can. Get your machete on, dart in and out as much as you can, and throw the book at him. Now I know the kicks leave you vulnerable to being taken down, so you want to use those wisely, but you want to use them because you want to use all of your tools. You can't cut off half of your body and say I'm not going to use it. It makes you too predictable. So you got to get them knees in there, get them kicks in there, maybe kick low, attack one of them legs on Khabib, something maybe it's harder for him to catch, harder for him to get his hands on you. Use those angles, trickery, bait him into bad movement, but keep this fight on the feet and in space as long as possible, because you will get taken down eventually. It's going to happen, whether it be the first round, second round. Khabib is going to take down Tony Ferguson. Tony Ferguson sometimes is willing to accept bad positioning because he's so good everywhere. He's so good off his back that sometimes he don't mind getting on his back. Don't do that. Don't do that. Do not. I don't mind being on my back with Khabib because you might not get up, okay? You can take some punishment, but don't take punishment against Khabib, okay? Just don't be your usual confident self, where I know you're so confident that you're willing to fight everywhere. In this one, I would say be strategic, be careful. When he does get you to the ground, make him regret it. Make him feel like he just put his head in a bag with a raccoon or something. Just you know what I mean? Make him feel like when he takes you down that he just fell on a bed of nails. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, which you're the perfect person to do that. Elbows off your back, punches off your back, slice him up, submissions, whether it's to get up or better positioning and to try to take him out. You're the perfect person to make Khabib uncomfortable in his most comfortable place, which is on the ground. But that should be your last resort. That should be what you use when he takes you down, which he will. Until then, keep this standing, keep this in space, stay dynamic, stay unpredictable, throw everything at him. If this goes to a decision, I'm inclined to think that it goes towards Khabib, because I would think that would mean that he spent a lot of time on the ground in top position. However, Tony's the perfect person to steal a round off his back. Like the way Michael Bisping would have stole that round from GSP if he wouldn't have got finished, you know what I mean? Slicing him up, putting him in danger. If Khabib spends half a round getting out of a submission, it's going to be hard to give him that round. But again, you don't want to leave this up to the judges. A decision, to get a decision off your back against Khabib, probably not going to happen. So again, avoid that. Make the bed of nails, the bag with the raccoons, be the last resort when he eventually takes you down. But until then, keep it standing, keep it in space. I kept it safe to me. When you pick the champ, to me, you always stay safe. But so when I picked Rose, I felt like that was the safe pick. And this one, in my opinion, I think Tony's the underdog. Let me know the betting odds. I don't really get into that. And if you use my picks for betting, don't use this, honey. All these fights are too close. So I'm going with El Kakui. I think he's the underdog. I think he might have to finish Khabib. But I'm going with my boy. I can't, I love him. So I can't see not rocking with him now, even though I'm like, but I'm going with El Kakui. Okay, let me know your picks. Please let me know any injury updates at all on this entire card, including the prelims. Please look out for 15-second predictions on Twitter and Instagram, because I will have predictions on the prelims, because I told you that entire prelim could be its own fight card itself. Please let me know any injury updates, any late pullouts, especially let me know about Khabib. Khabib, step 1, make weight healthily, like you did against Edson, okay? I want to see you 100%. And follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, where I will have more predictions coming. I'm on Snapchat now. Subscribe, like. I know you're as excited as I am, so please talk to me. Take care, and goodbye.